There is an incredible shortage of affordable housing in Arizona, and it is getting worse.
All last week, the Rebound Arizona team took a deep dive at some of the reasons we're facing this crisis. People moving to the valley faster than homes are being built. For those who already live here, wages aren't keeping up with housing prices, and it's just not profitable for developers to build affordable homes.
Tonight, ABC 15 investigator Courtney Holmes taking a closer look at what can be done to fix this.
$21 an hour. That's about the wage you need to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. But a significant amount of our community, some who go to work every day, will never be able to afford that. Many right now are couch surfing or living in cars or in the shelter or on the street. These are indisputable facts. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Incentives.
Incentivize multifamily development.
Incentivize developers.
Offer more incentives.
It's a word you hear a lot in the affordable housing world. It usually means tax breaks for developers to make building low-income housing worth their while. There's been a federal program in place since the 80s. About $20 million in federal tax credits are given to the Arizona Department of Housing. The department awards them to affordable housing developers. Developers sell the credits to investors, and that's the cash that pays startup costs to build. Joan Service with the Arizona Housing Coalition says it's past time for the state to do the same.
It's a deliberate policy intervention to create more affordable housing.
This legislative session makes the coalition's 4th attempt to make that happen. Senate Bill 1327 and House Bill 2562 would create a state-funded program.
You can invest in affordable housing development and receive a state tax credit.
If passed, the state would set aside $8 million in tax credits a year. Investors could claim them for 10, but Service says the state already has a way to fund more affordable housing if it wanted to.
This State Housing Trust Fund.
The State Housing Trust Fund, established to provide a flexible funding source to assist in meeting the housing needs of low-income families in Arizona. Before the Great Recession, it was funded with housing fees and half the proceeds from the state's sale of unclaimed property.
It had reached a balance of approximately $40 million.
Service says the state raided the fund when the economy tanked, and it's now capped at $2.5 million a year. With the exception of a $15 million payment in 2020, she says the trust is not being used to its full potential to build affordable housing.
At the state level, we need a significant increase or a significant investment.
Some, like Valley executive Howard Epstein, have taken matters into their own hands.
A lot of people look to the government to solve all these problems, and that's just not going to happen. So
Epstein came to that realization after pitching legislation that would have added a $25 affordable housing fee to home sales in Arizona.
I kind of, would get punched in the face and say, don't even try it. It's just not going to work.
Instead, the idea turned into the Arizona Housing Fund, a nonprofit that asks for $25 donations at the closing of real estate transactions.
It's like checking out at a grocery store, but it's when you buy or sell a house.
Since 2019, the fund has raised more than $500,000. Epstein says 100% of the money goes to nonprofit projects that build permanent housing for people with low incomes or who are experiencing homelessness.
It's $25, right? It's such a non-offensive amount. Maybe someday it'll be a law, but until then, we're gonna do it privately.
Another fund, Home Matters to Arizona, is hooked up with the state's Medicaid system and the insurance companies that it contracts with. Its goal is to raise $100 million toward affordable housing projects. So, what is Arizona going to do about its affordable housing crisis? That's still to be determined. But one thing is for certain, the problem and the solution is money. For the Rebound Arizona, I'm Courtney Holmes, ABC 15, Arizona.
All right, thank you very much, Courtney. And by the way, that was her final piece of a 6-part series on affordable housing here in the Valley. All 6 of her stories are available and they are streaming now. Just scroll to the Rebound Arizona on ABC 15 using Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, or Android TV.